Hello, Classic Crew, and welcome to today's episode of The Scoop. If you are new to my channel, The Scoop is our opportunity to chat, act as if we're grabbing a cup of coffee together, and just kind of go over what's been going on over the course of the week and just catch up. So grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, some water, whatever you have near you, and let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about were these beautiful pearl earrings that I absolutely adore, and I'm so excited to share that this portion of today's video is sponsored by The Pearl Source. The Pearl Source sources the very finest cultured pearls and turns them into one-of-a-kind designs, minus the markup of conventional jewelry stores. They come in all kinds, all colors, and all sizes, and every piece is made in-house by their team of expert specialists. They personally select every pearl that they sell, and they grade, measure, and match and string every single pearl by hand. The process is so easy. All you have to do is go onto their website, find a design that you like, and then customize it for you specifically, or for somebody if you want to get them a gift. They have great customer service, so all you have to do is call and they can help you with the process. Pearls are so classic and absolutely perfect for the holiday season. I can't wait to wear these over the holidays. They are just so stunning. Pearls are something that I think every girl should have in her collection, and pearls specifically are very valuable to me because I wore them on my wedding day. My mother had a set of pearls that my father bought for her, and I wore those on my wedding day, so now they have special meaning to me. There are so many different options and styles on the Pearl Source's website, and they are so well priced. You don't have to worry about a huge markup, which is just fantastic. So I really wanted to mention pearls in today's video and talk about how much I love these. I think they are so beautiful, so dainty. They go with so many outfits. And I just wanted to again thank the Pearl Source for sponsoring this portion of today's video. The next thing I wanted to talk about is that it's Thanksgiving this week. I would love to hear from you guys what you guys are doing for the holiday, if you're able to spend it with family, or if you're gonna be home, or if you're gonna be spending it with friends. However you're planning on celebrating, I would love to hear what you guys are doing, because Thanksgiving is such a lovely holiday, and this year has made it really painful for many of us that we can't go home, or that we can't travel, or we can't see family. Any of those things makes it really, really hard. And so trying to find the joy in Thanksgiving, even when you can't be with your family in person, can be really tricky. But some things that I've been thinking about that one could do if they wanted to make the holiday special, even during the time of COVID, definitely either buying a ready-made turkey or making one at home, or doing something turkey themed, right? You don't necessarily have to eat turkey if you don't like turkey, but turkey is one of those very quintessential Thanksgiving things. I think stuffing is even more quintessential. I love stuffing. Stuffing is delicious. It's really all about the foods, isn't it? Thanksgiving and food are just inextricably linked, and you can't really separate the two. And I love pie. Now, not all of the pies. Chocolate pecan pie. Chocolate pecan pie is delicious. I've talked about it on my channel before. You gotta have that on Thanksgiving. So I definitely recommend having a chocolate pecan pie on Thanksgiving, even if you're not gonna be with family, because it's so delicious. It's so good, and it will get you in the holiday spirit, of course. And another thing I was thinking about is one of the things that I love about Thanksgiving is when everyone goes around and says what they are grateful for. But if you're not with anybody, then I think another really lovely thing to do, even if you are with people and you have a few minutes alone, is to sit down with a notebook and really think about what you've been grateful for this past year, and write those things down, and not just kind of come up with something spur of the moment in, the conversation of a Thanksgiving meal, but really take the time to figure out what you were grateful for in 2020, because 2020 was such a hard year. And I think that it's hard to find those things that we appreciate when times are hard. So taking the time and sitting down and thinking about, okay, what really was okay this year? I mean, one of the things that I can be grateful for is that I haven't gotten COVID. How grateful am I about that? And that the people I love are healthy, and a bunch of different things. So I would love to hear something that you're grateful for in the comments, because it's Thanksgiving, it's the perfect time to think about that kind of thing. I would love to know what you guys are thinking too. The next thing I wanted to talk about are the books that I've been reading lately. So I have been reading Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. You guys, this book is amazing. It is so good. I actually am reading it and switching off between listening to the Audible and also reading it. It's so easy to read. I looked at the book and I got really nervous because it's very large, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, a whole book on economics, I'll never be able to work my way through that. Thomas Sowell is such a good writer. It's so easy to get through and to understand. I really feel like I'm learning so much, and it's not something that's really that overwhelming. I thought it was going to be way too thick, way too hard to get through, way too hard to understand. Not at all. He presents it in such a way that really it's basic economics. It's something that anyone could pick up and read. And he presents so many examples that it really kind of encourages you to remember the topics he's talking about, because he's not just kind of talking about it in the ether, but he's actually giving you concrete examples that you can hold on to. This book is informing me in so many ways. I knew a lot of this stuff kind of just from living life and talking to people, but Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics is giving me an even firmer foundation on this stuff. So if you're somebody who has felt overwhelmed looking at the spine of Basic Economics, because it is pretty thick, let me tell you from my experience, it is not hard to read. And that is so cool, because it actually can encourage you to educate yourself on this topic, because this is a book that really does give you an education. So huge fan of this book. Can't wait to keep reading it. I'm like actually excited about it, because I think that it's exciting to me to pick up an educational book and not feel like I'm kind of slogging through a lesson, where it's something where I'm learning and it feels easy and I feel like I can really grasp it. And that's exactly how I've been feeling, which is awesome. The other book that I have been reading lately is Jonathan Haidt's The Righteous Mind. So I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel before. I've been working through it kind of slowly because, again, I was taking it, I think, too seriously, in the sense that if I'm reading something that is really kind of important to me, I want to take a bunch of notes. I want to make sure I remember everything, but then it does get very slow and I get bogged down, and then it's very hard for me to finish and complete it. So I have been trying in the past maybe week or so to say, okay, if I don't remember everything, it's okay. I can always pick the book up again and look through it. But I've been really thinking about a lot of things in that book. Some of the things that Jonathan Haidt writes, I'm not the biggest fan of the way he presents, but I do think that the ideas are definitely there. I'm planning on doing a video kind of inspired by this book, because I would like to do a video on how to have a conversation with someone on the other side and actually have an open conversation where you can talk to them and see if you can actually convince them, not from a place of you're a bad person, but from I can engage with your ideas and understand where you're coming from, but here's another alternative viewpoint. And I think that he is giving a pretty good description in the book of kind of how to do that and why we think the way that we do. So if you're somebody who's interested in that kind of thing, I think it's a good book to pick up. But it is more written for maybe people on the left side of the aisle to understand people on the right. And it's an interesting thing as someone on the right who of course understands my own way of thinking to read what he is writing, because it's kind of justifying our positions, which is a little funny, but it is interesting and it kind of is giving me something to think about. The last thing I wanted to talk about today, and this is before the sun sets since I am using natural light today, is The Crown. I'm really curious who here watches The Crown, has watched The Crown. Leave it in the comments. I'm just curious to know who else is watching it. This season, not a huge fan. Now, I like the stuff with Diana and Charles because it's just kind of, it's soap opera-y, like, to be honest, that's just mostly what it is. But the stuff with Margaret Thatcher, that has been not good. Really, you can tell how biased they are, how much of this they are kind of making up to tell a narrative in the way that they want to get it across. They don't like Margaret Thatcher. To be clear, they are not fans of Margaret Thatcher. And what drives me crazy about the portrayal of her in this show is that facts are not always facts, in the sense that they can present her position, Margaret Thatcher's position, and if it's presented out of context and with no real explanation for why she took those positions and portrayed in a way where she's just a cold-hearted person, then it's not actually factual, because taking something out of context actually devoids it of its meaning. So for example, if she says, I think people need to work for their money, and The Crown presents it like, wow, Margaret Thatcher is cold-hearted and she doesn't care about poor people, she doesn't want to help anyone, which is how the show portrays it. Margaret Thatcher wasn't a cold person, but the way that they present it doesn't give you room to even understand what her position is. It just makes her look like an evil person with crazy positions. Who could even believe that someone would be this hateful and just want everyone to suffer? No, that's not the case. So I really encourage you, because I had to do this myself, I really encourage you to, if you're watching a show like The Crown or The Crown itself, when you see a historical person portrayed in a negative light, take the time to really research that person's kind of story and their positions outside of the context of the narrative of a show, where they're trying to portray someone in a certain light. Because you may end up learning exactly what I'm saying, which is that they are portraying her in a certain way because they want to have the drama set up in a certain way, or because they just don't like her in real life, and so they're not going to give you the whole story. And that to me has been to the detriment of the show, because they are portraying the Queen's positions and Margaret Thatcher's positions so one-dimensionally that you really can't even trust what they're saying, because it's like the Queen seems to be somebody who cares about people and just wants to help, and Margaret Thatcher just seems like a cold-hearted person who doesn't want to help anyone and just cares about the dollar bills. Clearly that's not the case. Clearly you don't elect a prime minister into office that many times just because she's cold-hearted and only cares about the bottom line. There's a reason people care about these things. Look it up for yourself. I'm not going to go into the whole economic reasoning and understanding of Margaret Thatcher's positions, because it's its own thing. Thatcherism is actually its own thing. But I don't want to kind of take up time in the scoop today to talk about that, but I did want to mention it. I encourage you to go up and research it yourself. Well, that's it for today's episode of The Scoop. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave comments down below. I love reading what you guys have been up to, and also just kind of your thoughts on everything I'm talking about. It's a ton of fun to kind of have this opportunity each week to chat with you all. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please subscribe to my channel and blog if you haven't already. Head over to my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and follow me there. Hit that notification bell to get notified of all my new videos. Hit that like button. Please head over to classicallyabby.locals.com if you'd like to support my channel, see more of this content, and be part of our community. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!